believe that if INEC is allowed to reconfigure their BVAs, then it will be possible for them to tinker with the software that's powering the BVA, which could mean that maybe for certain votes or for certain votes, maybe you could register double or triple votes or something like that. They don't want any such interferences, so they're agitating that INEC leave the BVAs the way they are.
He also spoke about the implication of not reconfiguring the beavers before the governorship election.
If INEC is not allowed to reconfigure the beavers, then what I foresee is a repeat of the presidential election, where those who want to do dirty would basically do it using crude methods. So beavers would not work. They would probably stop INEC officials from getting to polling units. If INEC is allowed to reconfigure their beavers, then I think they'll be able to probably rectify some of the issues that they had with the beavers in the presidential election. But
INEC has commenced the issuance of certificates of return to senators-elect, while House of Rep members-elect will get their certificates of return tomorrow. In the result released by the Commission for House of Representatives, the Labour Party has 34 members, the APC has 162, the P has 102 seats, the NNPP has 18 seats, ABGA has 4, SDP 2, ADC also won 2 seats, while YPP has 1 seat. Meanwhile, some core members who served as electoral officers during the presidential election have been speaking on what transpired on election day. One of them who spoke anonymously tells our correspondent that the right passwords to upload the election results were not provided by assigned INEC Registration Area Center RAC.
The RAC agents did not provide us with the password, and only when we finally got it, it was incorrect.
Another core member urged INEC to provide security for them on election day this Saturday.
INEC, I think, should please help us work on the security of the day of the election. My polling unit was with 2 security officers whom disappeared around the time we were counting the vote, and it was unsafe. If anything had risen up at that time, it would have been very bad for us.
Moving on. The husband of the coalition officer in Port Harcourt local government area of River State, Ammonia Lulu Briggs, says his wife, Omete, is receiving death threats. Lulu Briggs told journalists in Port Harcourt that his wife, who is a professor at the University of Port Harcourt, is being threatened for refusing to compromise the results in the just concluded elections. He said unidentified persons have been spotted around their home since after the elections.
She was under pressure to change the result, and she refused. And she decided to keep faith with the people. This is what they voted, and her life is under threat. And declared what the people voted for. There's so much threat, unknown numbers, calling, threats left, right, and center. She came to serve her country. The last 2 days, we've seen unusual movements around our house. Last night, our dogs were like crazy. This morning, some tinted cars moving to and fro. So I had to move her to a safer abode. She has done what she's supposed to do. It's for the world to know that whatever that happens to my wife, they should know that it's as a result of what came out from this election.
Dr. Lulu Briggs, however, called on INEC, the police, other law enforcement agencies and the university management to ensure that nothing happens to his wife.
Let the security agents, especially the Inspector General of Police, the INEC office to know this is a non-politician that was called up to serve our nation. Fellow persons that did not do what she did are now like she's proving to be a righteous person. How else can we save this country if we don't stand by the truth? Otherwise, you will discourage other persons from coming out to render such service to the nation. We want to have a good nation. How else will we do it when we start compromising our conscience? She has stood by the truth. Let the security agents, especially the Inspector General of Police, the INEC office to know. To call on the university community to protect her.
On his part, the chairman of River State Civil Society Organization, NFR Georgeville, said the organization will make a formal complaint to the AIG of Police in River State. He said no amount of threat will make the result change. Recall that a viral video surfaced during the collation of the presidential and National Assembly election in River State, where an electoral officer was seen facing pressure from party agents to compromise the election result from Alga. An INEC ad hoc staff member who served as an electoral officer during the February 25 election says INEC recruited untrained staff and as such not qualified to conduct the election. Speaking anonymously, the ad hoc staff tells our correspondent how the INEC list of ad hoc staff and their assigned areas was released on the night before the election. He said some names appeared twice on the list. Other names were those who did not undergo the training.
Most of the people that I go to training. Someone that I know very well that didn't even attend the training. The person didn't appear. She came for screening, yes, but the training she didn't attend. I was so disappointed. There are so many people that have registered online and came for screening and training for 3 days. Their names are not have, and they have to swap to people that names appear 2-3 times. And when she's wrong, when she's my first, they are not prepared. Even when we left, so our polling unit is already leaked. We left our local the collation center to our various units almost 9 o'clock in the morning, which we are supposed to resume by 8 a.m.
He said INEC did not also train core members on how to upload election results.
They told us that the uploading is mainly for copper. We will not teaching them and say it's just for copper. It's also wrong. Just teach them how to use the beaver to accredit, but we didn't teach them how to upload the results. Some of the coppers, I even helped them to upload because they are having issues by the uploading.
He also spoke on alteration of election results.
What we even uploaded online, they are not showing it. They didn't show us, they just concluded on the result. I uploaded mine. I have a picture of mine. So I'm so shocked that things are going this way. I have so many negative results from my other colleagues. They were telling me negative results of what happened. Or what they are seeing online is very wrong. What we gave and what they are representing are different. So I don't think INEC are fair to what we are doing. INEC to put my action for the government election so that we can have a free and fair election.
Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike says he did not criticize the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, and his APC counterpart, Bulletin in the just concluded presidential election because he's an apostle of power shift to the southern region of Nigeria. Governor Wike said this at the commissioning of Chokocho Igbodo Road in the Ete local government area of Rivers State. He said he owes nobody an apology for supporting the rotation of power to the south after the 8-year tenure of the incumbent President Muhammadu Buhari, who is from Katsina State in the northwest geopolitical zone.
Go to anywhere. I have each time I went out for campaign, nobody has heard me criticize Obi. Have I ever done that? No. Nobody has heard me criticize Asuwaji. Have I ever done that? No. What I did, and I owe nobody any apology. Vote for the Southern president, whoever you want to. As far as I'm concerned, anybody from South, that is my position. So I'm not here coming to say you voted for Labour, you voted for APC. No, that is what we agree as integrity group.
Governor Wike also said the PDP's defeat in the presidential election is the consequence of ignoring warnings of the G5 governors.
I owe nobody any apologies at all. I'm one of those who stood firm that power must rotate. This is for equity, this is for fairness, and this is for justice. Whether you voted for Labour, I have no problem with you. Whether you voted for APC, I have no problem with you. That is what we have aimed for. Our constitution says, section 73C of the PDP constitution says there shall be rotation of public offices. There shall be rotation of our public offices appointed and elected. You took the chairman of the party, you took the president, and we came to you. This is against the spirit and letter of our constitution. Give us back chairman. He said, no, you must have this org because you have won. I said, be careful.
SDP governorship candidate in Rivers State, Magnus Abbey, says he will usher in a different kind of government that will eradicate election rigging in the state. Senator Abbey, during a campaign speech at Ikoku in Port Harcourt City local government area, also assured the prompt payment of salaries.
As we vote this Saturday, a different kind of government go start for Rivers State. When I become governor for Rivers State, nobody go rig election. I no go rig. And anybody wey know me, know say I know they talk something for public, then go back, go do the opposite thing. The first thing we want to do for this Rivers State, we want make money begin to move round. Not the only people wey dey for government go get money. If money they move round, it go solve the problem. If we pay the teachers their money, we pay civil servants their money, we give person contract to go clean secretariat or something. The person go repair in car, he go buy new car. Part of that money go come back to the market. You too, you take and solve your problem.
In another development, the PDP spokesperson in Rivers State, Ogbonaya Nwuke, says it is not true that INEC has delisted the party's governorship candidate, Siminalayi Fubara, from participating in Saturday's election following a court matter to be heard on Friday. In an interview, Mr. Nwuke said that the PDP governorship candidate in the state has validly satisfied all the conditions set out by the law and the provisions of the PDP constitution, which qualified him as a candidate to take part in the forthcoming electoral process.
The People's Democratic Party (PDP) wishes to state for the avoidance of doubt that the so-called breaking news released by a faceless group of persons is completely fake. Siminalayi Fubara was duly elected during the primaries conducted in the state, which was supervised by officials of the National Secretariat. The satisfaction of the requirements set up by guidelines of INEC and the party means that Siminalayi Fubara is on the ballot, and so we contest the March 11 election. For the record, it is important to stress that Siminalayi Fubara has won all cases brought against him before courts of competent jurisdiction.
As you may know, there were reports that the PDP National Working Committee dragged the party's governorship candidate in Rivers State to the Supreme Court that he is not standard flag bearer of party. The report also claimed that INEC has suspended him from contesting in Saturday's election, pending the determination of the suit slated for Friday. Still ahead, Minister of State for Budget and Planning expresses concern over impact of funding insecurity on the conduct of 2023 census. We'll go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, the rest of the news.
Our vote data, PDP, our vote data.
Wow, River State has never had it so good.
The Minister of State for Budget and Planning, Clem Agba, has expressed concern over the impact of funding, insecurity and cultural differences on the conduct of the 2023 National Housing and Population Census. Agba, who spoke at a meeting with members of the private sector and development partners in Abuja, explained that over 60% of funds needed for the census had been released, adding that funding intervention from development partners remains key. The census is scheduled to hold between March 29 and April 2. In entertainment, 2 people died and 8 were injured in the stampede after a concert by rapper Glorilla in Rochester, New York. Authorities say the crush may have been triggered when audience members mistakenly thought they heard gunshots. Glorilla, who had finished performing before the incident, said she was devastated and heartbroken. In sports, Paris Saint-Germain forward Neymar is to undergo surgery to repair ankle ligaments, which will keep the Brazil international out for the rest of the season.
And now, we'll bring you news from around the world.
On the foreign scene, Brazil's Justice Minister asked federal police on Monday to investigate reports that ex-President Jair Bolsonaro tried to illegally import jewelry worth $3.2 million gifted by Saudi Arabia as tax officials probe a second present of jewels. The far-right former president has faced mounting questions over the duel since newspaper Estado de Sao Paulo reported Friday that customs bringing them into Brazil without paying the required import duty after an official trip in October 2021. On the news this afternoon, you heard stakeholders speak on INEC moves to reconfigure beavers. INEC is issuing certificate of return to House of Representatives members-elect. Rivers PDP has denied reports of INEC delisting party's governorship candidate. Family of Farga electoral officer alleges threat to her life. On the foreign scene, Brazil's President Bolsonaro faces probes over Saudi jewels. The news was edited by Onyekachi Nwosu. Sunny weather expected in Port Harcourt this afternoon. Peace is the path to the prosperity of a nation. Let peace reign. I am Kalada Kurubatabo. Good afternoon.